All right, so check this out. This is the setup I have here in front of me on my desk. Um, I've got my interface here on the right, so that's how I'm going into the computer. I'll talk more about the interface later on in the course. I've got my mixer, which we've looked at before. That's how I manage kind of all my signals because I've got lots of I/O more than I've got with my interface altogether. Um, so anyways, not necessary the mixer really for this demonstration. It's just there. It's part of the signal chain. The main thing about this setup is here is my deluxe Memory Man made by Electro Harmonics. I've had this thing for almost 20 years. It's one of the coolest, warmest delays, echoes that's really been ever made. I would argue. Love this thing. It's built for guitar. It's high Z. It's unbalanced connections, right? And you can see that here. If you recognize these style of jacks, those are your typical quarter-inch plug, and they are definitely TS. If you can see that there, right? Tip, sleeve in the back. So that's typical guitar instrument connections. And, the thing is, this is a great delay. I would love to use this on a vocal or another non-guitar track. And, ultimately, this is built for a guitar setup. So that is where the transformer comes in. This one is made specifically for this purpose. It is meant to be a reamp transformer or a reamp DI. If you will. You don't have to have a specific reamp. You could use any direct inject box. Any DI box would do. It's just you got to be careful about which is the output and which is the input. So for a reamp, it's pretty clear. It's labeled. With a typical DI, we're going to use it in reverse. We're going to use it backwards from the way we would usually use it. So those kind of got to keep track of your I/O with a typical DI. This one makes it easy. So ultimately what I've got plugged in to the DI is an output from my DAW, right? So this is the hardware face of my DAW over here, the Apollo Twin. And that's what I'm using here in Logic to expand my computer input and output, right? More on all of that digital stuff later on. But I'm using, I use Logic primarily to stream, clearly, and it's one of my favorite DAWs. So that's my vocal coming in. You see some level there on the VO track, voiceover. I've got some oops, put those on the wrong channel. There they go. Got some little guitar licks I just found in the Logic loops. This is not me, but cool stuff nonetheless. So I've got that. So I've got a recorded track already, and this is really where this reamping thing can be really, really cool for guitar players as well. And then what I've done is I've created another audio track using the other input on my interface. So my voice is coming through channel 1, which is the Audio-Technica mic here in front of me, and that is plugged into channel 1 on my mixer. I've got phantom power engaged because it's a condenser, and then it is coming into Logic here, input 1, channel 1. It's coming into the VO track. Cool. And then I've got this other input track set to input number 2. And that is going to be the output of my effect. So I've got a output TS cable going to channel 2 of my Mackie. It's admittedly a little lo-fi going that way, but Mackie does build their line connections so that we can utilize guitar, high Z, unbalanced quarter-inch connections. So it should have the proper amount of resistance and gain to be able to handle that. Now, again, I could go directly into my interface and do that as well. So the channel 2 on my analog setup, the setup that's here, is coming back on this track, the effects track. So that's basically whatever is coming out of that delay, which is pretty cool. And so what I am doing from there is on my voiceover track, I have a send setup. And that send is going out bus 1. And bus 1, there's like a virtual track in Logic over here. Oh, no, over here. That I have labeled effects send. This is the output from the DAW to my delay pedal. I have set the output of that to output 3. That's one cool thing about this interface. That's why it costs a few $100 more than similar interface. Just the 2 inputs, but it has 4 outputs. So 2 of those outputs are for my speakers, and then I've got a 3rd output going into the transformer. So that is an XLR cable. It is a line level signal coming out of my DAW. This is a track ultimately. Even though it's coming in live from my mic, it's going out at the level that a typical track would. So that is a line level signal, and so I'm using the low Z balanced connection of my transformer here to bring that signal in. From there, I have a high Z output. You can actually, if you see this light blinking, that's me speaking. The transformer is converting the signal from balanced to unbalanced. It's converting the resistance, the impedance, from a low resistance to a high resistance. Again, that's what this wants because it's looking for guitar signals typically. So the transformer is acting like this converter for that purpose. And then I'm just taking the high Z out of the effect and plugging it into channel 2. And then channel 2 is coming into the effects return track. So I've actually got the volume down on my mixer. Check. Yeah. And that's the delay. It's dark. I like it. I like that. And what I love about this pedal, if I turn the feedback all the way up, check. Hear that? Let's turn the delay time down. Let's turn it back up. Yo. Hey. I love that stuff. So I'm playing with the feedback of the echo, and that allows it to have like these infinite repeats. And this is an analog style delay. It uses capacitors actually to copy and delay the signal over and over and over again. It's a bucket brigade delay is what the circuit is. And yeah, you just get those like UFO sounds. And if you change the delay time, that's how you can kind of change the pitch. Yo. Oh, bring this back in. There it is. Woo. Check. And so it's kind of cool is, you know, with the mixer, and this is something that I like to do sometimes with bands when I'm mixing bands live. It's cool to have a knob or a fader where you can just bring it up. And you can just throw the signal at the delay every once in a while. Pretty cool. So there you have it. That's where reamping is really cool. Now, I'm doing this live with the mic, so yeah, you could use guitar effects for vocals. You just need this reamper box to convert the signals. But this is also very useful as a guitar player myself. I do this a lot as well. I want to go back and replay something with different settings on my effects, and sometimes the delay that I choose live or in the studio, it's like, oh, I don't. That's not the way I want it. But if it's printed to my recording because my guitar came through the delay, I can't go back and change that necessarily. So sometimes it's nice to record guitar dry and then do the same thing. If I put a send on this guitar track and kind of bring that up in Logic here, I can send the guitar out as well. Sorry, I have my outputs confused. There we go. Try that again. So here's the dry. No delay on it. And then I would record it. I would record it to this effects return track. Right? And so now what I have, I can kind of take off all this routing. I can take the effect away. I can shut everything down. I can close Logic. And then next time I open Logic, I now have this. Oops. I have this originally dry guitar track, right? No effects. And then I have the affected signal, which I can mix with the original. Right, so I've got the dry guitar and I have the printed effect. So pretty cool.